Good afternoon to you lovely real entrepreneurs. How are you doing this happy Friday? Greetings from Dubai. Tell me how you are. Just waiting for some people to join. Happy Friday. You can tell I'm feeling better, can't you? How are we doing? I hope that you are well. Greetings from Dubai. Do let me know where in the world you are. Do let me know how February is going for you. Can you believe that we are already racing through February? How is your family? How is your business? How is your team? Give me a wave there. Thank you for joining. I can see a few people coming in now. Hi Martin, hi Sanjay, how are you? Good to see you. Give me a wave. Let me know how things are. Greetings from Dubai. Let me know where you are. Hey Sarah, is that Layla I just saw pop up as well? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. How are things where you are? Let me know where in the world you are joining from, and let me know how has this week been. I know that there's still a lockdown in the UK. Also, many of you with children at home, juggling homeschooling with running a business, which is always a bit of a challenge. Yeah, tough times for many people, but also exciting times for many people. Let me know what you've been working on this week. Has it been a good one? I mentioned last week that I haven't been feeling great, but I am pleased to tell you that I might have discovered at least some of the reasons why. So I've been really struggling with some debilitating headaches, which is really unusual for me. I'm lucky I don't normally suffer from headaches. My mum always used to tell us when we were little, if we had a headache, to have a glass of water and go to bed. So that's pretty much my headache cure. I wondered if maybe it was hormonal, maybe I'm the start of perimenopause perhaps, or maybe just the stress of the move kind of coming out. I wasn't sure, and I'm really not a great fan of popping pills. As I say, my mum used to tell us if we had a headache to drink a glass of water, but nothing was helping, and it was a really tough week or so. And yeah, the last couple of weeks have been a real struggle. And so what I did is I went and got my eyes tested to see if everything was okay in that department. You may know that I wear glasses for long distance, driving, TV, or when I'm kind of out and about. And I wondered if maybe I needed glasses for computer work, but the optician confirmed that I don't. And my husband is a bit of a vampire. He doesn't really like brightness. He definitely prefers the shade. And so when we moved in here, we decided that I would take this very light and bright, airy room, and that he would take the one kind of back there where the light is being blocked a little bit by that next building that you can probably just see in the corner there. And even then he wanted to put up curtains to block the light. But I love this room and I love how bright it is. We chose a north-facing apartment so that we won't hopefully suffer from the full ferocity of the sun during the summer. Anyway, last week he came in here and he used my room for a few hours because he needed to record himself talking about Circlehood, which is an online marketplace for parents to buy and sell secondhand children's clothes and toys. And he and his co-founder are going for crowdfunding, which is really exciting, and they needed a video. So after spending a few hours here in my office, he told me that he could really feel the strain in his eyes from the brightness, and that got me thinking. So I ordered myself these very fetching, I'm sure you will agree, blue light blocking glasses, and here they are. I've only been wearing them for a few days, but so far so good. So glasses were one thing, but the other thing was the weather. We woke up last Wednesday morning to really thick fog. We're here we're on the 27th floor here in Dubai, and we couldn't see anything at all. I'll post some pictures up actually, because it was totally bizarre and very beautiful as it sort of started to clear as the morning went on. We had the same thing every morning for a whole week, and then suddenly this last Wednesday, just gone, we woke up to crystal clear morning and the temperature dropped jumped up several degrees, and I understand that this is very common at this time of year. The fog and the temperature changes quite a lot during February. And I've never been negatively impacted by weather before, as far as I know. But since Wednesday, no headache, and I feel like a completely different person. I am happy to say, I feel like a completely different person. So happy Friday to you all. I hope that you are doing well wherever you are. Hi Paula, hi Scylla, nice to see you both. Lots of people joining now, so great to see you all. Hope you've had a great week. Do let me know what you've been working on. Paula, I know you've had a really exciting week. Happy birthday for Wednesday. I've been seeing lots of things kind of popping up, so looking forward to catching up and hearing how you are doing. So how is business? How is your team? My business is doing great. I've had a great week business-wise, mainly client coaching sessions this week, plus a really great session yesterday, a contribution compass workshop for one of my engineering clients. There were 10 people on the call, and we got everybody profiled, and we were talking about flow and all of my favourite things, and it really reminded me of how valuable kind of understanding how you're wired can be. Where do you get your energy from and what drains you? And everybody got real value from understanding how they can leverage their own strengths and also that of their colleagues. So yeah, that was a really great session and really, really energizing. I've also had a number of clarity calls with people from this group. If you would like to get past your blockers, take that next step in your business, book in a call with me and let's give you a good dose of clarity. I have a few slots each week that I make available for these calls. They're absolutely free, so grab yours now. You can find the link in the pinned post at the top of this group. So that's what I've been up to. How about you? I know it seems like it's a busy time for everybody. I hope that you and your business are thriving. If not, then that's okay too. Please let me know what support you need. You're definitely not alone. So last week we were looking at pressure and dealing with pressure. Where does it come from and how do you deal with it? How do you turn it around into something positive? You can find a recording of that live in the group's units, which if you've been paying attention, you'll see that they are now called guides. Facebook has changed the name of them. There are actually 4 guides in this group. There's a welcome guide with some information about me and some links and also information about the group. And then we have 3 guides units filled with resources and all of the lives that I've done dating back to when we started this community all the way back in June 2019. So firstly, there's Simplify Your Business with loads of hints and tips on how to make life easier for yourself, how to organise your time and how to focus on what's important. Then there's Grow Your Business, which is all about client acquisition, scaling and managing people. And finally, and very importantly, there's Enjoy Your Business, which focuses on you and your role and how to ensure that the business you're building continues to delight and inspire you. What we don't want is you falling out of love with your business. So, as Paula and I have discussed before, it's important to have fun as well along the road. So everything I do falls into one or more of these guides: simplify, grow, or enjoy. So you'll easily find the support you need. I want all 3 of those things for each and every one of you, of course, but you will know which one is needed most for you right now. And as you know, I tend to take my cues from you in terms of what would be helpful for me to cover during these lives. Sometimes maybe I'll read about something or reflect on a past experience, and then I'll take those learnings from that to share with you. Or often I share things from my book or things that I'm working with my clients on, but most often these lives come from conversations, questions and requests that I get from this community. So do let me know where are you stuck, what questions do you have and what challenges are you facing. So this week's live comes actually from several conversations with members of this community and also a couple of client sessions that I've had this week. And today we're talking about how to professionalize your business. So maybe you've got some great products or services that people want to buy. Maybe you've proved that there's a market for what you're offering. And so now what? How do you turn this then into a full-time sustainable business without it taking over your life and burning you out? How do you commercialize maybe your hobby? How do you turn what you love into a real life bona fide business? Maybe you've got a hobby that you'd like to turn into a business. Maybe you've got an existing venture where you're still doing everything or doing too much. Or maybe you have a small team, but you're still kind of struggling to put those pieces together. Getting clear on those steps that you need to take to professionalize your business is really going to be key to your success. What do you prioritize? Which bits do you outsource or delegate? And how do you find the time, very importantly? So today I want to give you 10 things to think about when it comes to professionalizing your business, 10 steps if you like. So it always starts, and most of what I talk about starts with setting a goal or having a plan. So simply deciding to turn your hobby into a business or professionalize what you're doing isn't a goal in itself, not really. Of course you want to be working on something that you're passionate about, but what else do you want from your business? I talk a lot about what does success look like for you. I don't want you chasing somebody else's version of success. So what do you really want from your business? Do you intend to quit your day job if you're still in a day job? Do you intend to run this full time? Or are you maybe just looking for a bit of a side hustle? Do you maybe just want a challenge or even just the freedom to make something of your own? Asking yourself these questions and figuring out what you expect to get out of running your own business is really helpful to do at the beginning, and I would highly recommend it. And even if you're several months or several years in and you haven't really asked yourself those questions, it's never too late. Having your reasons clearly outlined, clear to you, and preferably written down, can really help you stay the course. I always talk about business being a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're really clear about why you do what you do, it can really help you stay the course. And it's important to remember why you decided to become an entrepreneur in the first place. I always talk about it being a roller coaster ride, and there are times where it's lonely and overwhelming and frustrating. And having those reasons to kind of fall back on is really important. So setting a goal and being really clear about why you're doing what you're doing, definitely step one. Step two, do your research. And again, this is not just for people that are starting out. So a lot of entrepreneurs, I notice, get enamored by a particular product or a particular idea. And I saw a lot of this last year where everybody was panicking about pivoting. It's like online courses are going online. You know, everybody was kind of getting really hung up on particular things. And of course, starting with something that you're passionate about or that you're interested in is, of course, important, but it can also be quite dangerous because then you're convinced that it's going to work. And that is why you really do need to conduct some market research to make sure that your business idea isn't just appealing to you, but that it's actually going to resonate out there in the market. So this process that I'm talking about is simply learning more about your potential customers. You're asking questions, you're looking at the available market, you're maybe looking also at your competitors and identifying what niche you want to go into. Now, it's important not to overthink this stage and not to get too caught up with it, not to use it as an excuse not to proceed. It can quite easily turn into a bit of a barrier to getting your business out there, and I spoke about that a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about some of those sort of pitfalls that stop people just moving forward. Website. Just do enough to verify that your idea is well thought out and has potential in the market. You're likely, as I mentioned, to come back to this step fairly often throughout the life of your business. This is not just something that you do at the beginning. And so you absolutely should not worry or get hung up about perfectly researching every single possibility. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck on any of these steps. So your third step then is really to think about your business model. And I had a really interesting conversation with a gentleman who is in the medical supplies space, and we were talking about business models and operationalizing his business model. And it's really important to think about what's going to work for you and what's going to work for whatever it is that you're selling, but also what's going to work for your customers. It can be really easy, too easy, to find a problem, have an idea, and then jump straight into product and particularly brand development. And I know a lot of people get hung up on that, and I've talked a lot about the pitfalls of that. But if you don't fully understand how you're actually going to make money, how you're actually going to commercialize this, there is a risk that you don't even get your business off the ground, depending on your financial situation and how much money or capital you have to invest into it. It is really important to answer that "how am I going to make money" question. Now, that might not be something that you do at the beginning. You might be focused on building up a community, building up a following, but you really need to understand then that you're not prioritizing that at the beginning. So identifying your business model, your commercialization model, if you like, is really an important step in professionalizing and making your business actually a business. Because ultimately, if you're not in business to make money, then actually what you're doing is running a charity, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but then it's not really a business. So to put it really simply, and you know that I like to make things simple and keep things simple, you need to know how much will it cost to make your product or service, how much will it cost to sell it and also to deliver it, and also how much is your client, your potential client, willing to pay. And they're really the nuts and bolts of the commercialization and the business model, because the answers to those three questions will very much dictate your business model. You also need to consider how you're actually going to sell the product. You know, are you thinking about some sort of subscription model? Are you thinking about a one-time purchase? Are you thinking maybe even about franchising? Are you building a marketplace, some sort of platform to facilitate buyers and sellers where you take a cut? Maybe even crowdsourcing. So what is your sales model? How are you actually going to sell your product? You need to find a business model. You need to find a platform, if you like, that fits your customer base, that fits your business offering, and also your pricing strategy. Just be sure that whichever model or whichever strategy you choose, it brings in more money than you're spending. That's kind of business 101, but I think it's useful to reiterate, you do need to be making more money than you're spending, certainly over a period of time. And of course, you can always adapt and adjust as you go, but it is better if you can to start off on the right footing. There's nothing more depressing than watching your bank balance go down and down and down without having really a clear plan about what you're going to do about that. So once you've got clear then around your business model and you've done a bit of research, then now you really need to test your idea. And I've talked about testing before. And the reason why this is so important is you can do all the research in the world and you can come up with a really nice fancy business model, but the problem is that at this point is all hypothetical, right? And so you think there's an opportunity and you think that you know who your ideal client might be and you think you know how to sell to them, but you aren't sure. And so before you go full steam ahead, quit your job, spend thousands of pounds on a fancy website and branding and all the rest of it, you need to validate your idea. You've obviously done a bit of this, hopefully, when you've been doing your market research. You've spoken to some potential customers. But this is the moment where you really have to test whether this is a whole business or a new product line, whether or not anyone's actually prepared to part with cold hard cash for it. And so some ways that you can do this. I've talked before about putting up a very simple landing page, maybe taking pre-orders if it's a product that you need to build, maybe selling a very limited run if you're talking about a product again. I mentioned crowdfunding before, or even maybe doing some advertising. There are plenty of ways to test. But your method really needs to depend on the business model. So depending on what business model you've decided on will decide how you do this testing. But I always say, and I'm going to say it again, a business is not a business when it's got a product or service. A business is only a business when it's got its first customer. And that first customer is likely to come from your network. That first customer is likely to be somebody that you already know who likes and trusts you, which is why I always say, please don't spend too much time on that fancy website, on that fancy branding, unless you're finding the process useful as it helps you evolve your ideas, and I know that for some of you that is the case. But it is important to secure that first client, because you will learn such a lot from that first client. And the key here, and actually all the way through, is to think about your metrics. So you need to think about how you're going to measure success and how you're going to measure your test phase. So what does success look like? Is it just signing a client at any price? Or, what is it that you actually want to test? You might be looking for a number of sign-ups to your newsletter or a number of hits on your social media, pre-order amounts, conversion on your adverts. You need to decide up front what success looks like. Otherwise, you start testing and you get all of this data, and then you're trying to interpret it after the fact, which is not very sensible. So that is my first 4 steps. So now we have tested our idea, and we know that we've got a bit of market here. We've started receiving some money. We've kind of signed our first few clients. Now we need to stop. And now we need to make a plan. Now we need to make a proper plan. And this is what I was talking to this gentleman about, is now you need to operationalize. Now you need to say, instead of just going full tilt in, which is what a lot of people do, like, yay, I've got 1 client, now I need to get 10 more clients. That's fine, but can your business cope with 10 more clients? If you are doing everything, which I know is the case for many people, can you manage, nice problem to have, you've got 10 clients, 20 clients, 50 clients, but can you and your business manage that? Can your systems manage that? Are you set up operationally to deliver? Because what you don't want is to spend all of this time and money and effort getting on board more clients and then not be able to deliver them a fantastic product or service, a fantastic experience. If you find that your idea does have traction, then it's time to make things official, right? So writing a business plan is a really great idea. It helps you put everything together, all those things that you found, your market research, your data from your early tests, all of those metrics, get it all together into a document. We're not talking about anything too complicated when I talk about a business plan. People often get really hung up about business plans. Just something simple that tells the story, that tells somebody who doesn't know anything about your business what it's about. What problem are you solving? How are you solving it? How are you acquiring your customers? What are your basic costs? It's a really great process to pull everything together in a cohesive plan, not for other people, but for you. Yes, this document is very useful. You can share it with investors, you can share it with the bank, you can share it with other interested parties, you can share it with your business coach. But even if you're not planning on raising money, just getting all that information together is a really good way to keep yourself on track. Planning must absolutely include what you are going to spend your time on. Many early stage entrepreneurs get completely exhausted before their business is able to function without them. And so I really entreat you and implore you to really guard your time preciously. It is really one of your most important resources. You might enjoy making some of your products, but would that be sustainable if your orders suddenly exploded? Yeah, you might enjoy certain aspects of your business, but is that the best use of your time? So next then, once we've made a bit of a plan, as I say, test it, get it clear in your head, test it, and then just have a pause and write it down, write a bit of a plan. If you need help, let me know, but write a bit of a plan, because if you get this right, and we hope that you do, whether this is a new business or whether or not this is a new product line or a new service that you're launching, what you hope is that all these things come together and things start moving really, really quickly. That's what we hope, right? But then you want to be ready for it, because I see so many people start, everything really goes really quickly, and then they fall over or they have to stop because they're not actually ready for that growth. So prepare for this to be successful. Okay, number 6, get your finances in order. As you plan and you test, then hopefully you should be getting a good handle on your costs, right? So many people that I meet shy away a bit from the numbers. They maybe tell themselves they're not very good at maths. I've got an accountant. You've heard me talking about this before, right? But it is important, and again, I'm not talking about anything too complicated, but it is important that you have a handle on your basic numbers, right? At the very least, you need to understand what's coming in and what's going out, right? At the very least. When you're starting out, a full financial plan is really valuable to help you keep on track of how your business is doing, and so you can identify any areas for improvement. Eventually as well, if you want to raise money, if you want to apply for a loan or pitch your business to investors, this is going to be a vital tool, a proper financial plan to ensure that you're going to receive funding. Most people won't invest unless they can really get a handle on the numbers. You also need to get your personal finances in order. This means understanding your current financial situation and what you can afford for your business, and also if your personal credit is going to affect your business. And I often ask people, how much do you need to live on? And it's amazing that a lot of people don't know that. What is that number? What do your monthly costs add up to personally? Do you need that to come from your business? Do you have a job that you're still in, either part-time or full-time? What are those numbers that you need? Really important that you've got a handle on that. You do need to separate out your business from your personal finances, particularly if you're going to become a full-time business owner. But initially, if it's a bit more of a side hustle, you might not need to do that, but I always advise people to keep those separate and understand those two pots, if you like. Number 7, learn some marketing basics. Now, some people have accused me of being anti-marketing, and I am not anti-marketing. I am anti-marketing too soon. So you do need to learn some marketing basics for sure, because all that potential in your business is going to quickly die if you're not reaching your customers. So you do need to have a sales and marketing strategy. It is vital that you do your research and so that you know where your clients are and how they want you to communicate with them. But I would also advise getting some marketing basics as well under your belt when you're starting out. It's good to know the basics even if you don't end up doing it. A word of warning, do not get overwhelmed and swamped by marketing. I see that happening to so many people. You need to be very intentional about marketing. What is the purpose of what you're doing, and is it going to help you connect with the people that you want to serve? Marketing can be, and particularly social media, can just be such an energy and time sapping activity. And it's very easy to get kind of addicted to it and get kind of hung up on the number of likes and the number of followers and all of that kind of stuff. And my question is always, is it leading to business? Like, when was the last time you got a customer through those channels? If you do, then great. But marketing, it's important that we're measuring it. We're measuring how much time we're putting into it, but also we're measuring the results out. Otherwise, it's like a bottomless pit. It just sucks you in. Okay, a website and social media channels are of course important so that people know how to find you, but please make sure that you've proved your concept first before you jump into social media too much. And then I would suggest that you consider getting some help with social media unless you absolutely love doing it. Easily one of the biggest sources of overwhelm that I see with my clients is too much social media. The key to successfully marketing your business is actually trial and error and iteration. So you need to be connecting with your clients, with your potential clients, where they're at. You can't just stick out one message. You need to test multiple iterations. We've all got an idea about what's going to work, but until you test it, you just don't know, and you need to find out what's connecting with people. And again, you need to be quite intentional about this. So don't spend money on, TV ads if your customer base is mainly in their early 20s, and the money could be better spent on marketing to them online. You've got to meet your customers. You've got to know where your customers are hanging out so that you can really target and be focused about this. You need to be willing to try, fail and try again. It really is a trial and error, and you need to have some resilience. Take it from me personally, you need to have some resilience particularly about advertising. But it's important to test so that you can narrow down your messaging. But you do need to be focused, or you do risk burning yourself out. And as I say, I see that a lot. Okay, step 8, building a client pipeline. Now this might seem like a completely obvious step. Of course you need to build a client pipeline, right? But it is vital for your long-term success. You need a solid pipeline of potential clients coming through whatever your marketing and then sales process is. You've tested and validated your idea, and that should have led to some sales, but now it's time then to think about that next set of clients. And these buyers will come through your sales and marketing channels, and they represent all those things that you've dreamt about, that you've planned for, and it represent those turning into reality. These clients are going to be a little bit more difficult to acquire than your early adopters, because they knew, they liked, they trusted you, right? But this next set of clients can also be your best chance at gaining traction in the market, because these clients help you understand what's working and what's not, and they help you refine your messaging in a way that those early adopters can't, because they already know you, and so it's difficult for them to be objective, and they may have come more directly to you than through your marketing and sales channels. So this initial group of customers after your early adopters, this group serves as your springboard for building an audience and also a positive reputation. So you need to take what you learn as you acquire these customers to grow and refine your business model and also your marketing and sales channels. With the right incentives, you can make a good name for yourself, and you can also work out those initial problems that are going to put off some less interested people. So it's all about refining and testing. And that leads me on to step 9, which is about milestones and measuring. So milestones are something that you'll put in your business plan, of course, but they're not really goals that you set in stone. They are things that evolve as you operate your business, as you see results, as you test, and also as you adjust then according to those things that you're measuring and the results that you're getting. So you also need to consider professional milestones for yourself. So if you did turn your hobby into a business, you might not be working in it full time, and so you need to set goals around how long you're going to stay in your current job, how much personal debt maybe you need to pay off in order to invest in your business full time, how much your business needs to make. So setting those milestones, but also about your time. Think about your time and how to protect that. What's the milestone you need to reach before you can hire that first person, before you can onboard that first person? At what point do you start paying for some help? Earlier than you think, always, is my answer. So setting those milestones, and those, I like to think of them almost as trigger points. So when I hit this, then this will happen. When I sign 5 clients, then that's when I'm going to invest a bit more in my website. Or when I have got 3 people through my marketing channel, then I will put more money into advertising, whatever it might be. So have a think about what those milestones are for you, and at what point you can then trigger certain activities or certain milestones in your business. So that's step number 9. And then step number 10 is find a coach or a mentor. Running a business can be really daunting, and it's not most people's natural inclination to ask for help. But a business coach or mentor can help you avoid some of those pitfalls and keep you motivated. They can help you move faster. And I work with my clients on how to organise their time and their priorities, as well as how to find the right people to support them. And working with somebody who has grown businesses themselves and work with other entrepreneurs like you can give you confidence to stay the course. They can also be a really necessary sounding board to talk things through with. You may think that you don't know what to do, but in my experience, you probably do. You just need some help getting clear. And I would say after those 10 steps, if you've implemented those 10 steps, then there's a good chance that you've successfully professionalised your business, or you're on your way to doing that. Or do you know what? You might find through that process that your hobby should just stay a hobby. You need to be prepared for that, and you need to be prepared for what comes next. After that initial euphoria and excitement of starting your business, then the reality sets in. So you do need to be prepared for that. And the key is to be really clear up front about what you want, and then make a plan to achieve it. And I know that it is not always easy to figure out what you want, but it is worth spending some time getting clear about that, either alone or with some help. The thing about prioritising and planning is that, as with so many things, it's different for each and every one of us. So if you're a very creative person, you might struggle to translate conceptual ideas into practical actions. Some people who have a really clear grasp of their top priority struggle then to manage other tasks and manage other people. If you're not a natural planner, it will take more of your energy to focus on prioritising your activities and also on helping others to do so. Understanding how you're wired is really key to helping you find ways to organise your time that really work for you. Accepting that you might find this difficult makes it easier to push through those instinctive negative emotions that often get stirred up when we confront things that we're just not very skilled at. So although planning might not come naturally to you, there are things that you can do to help yourself. And here are a few. Understanding your natural strengths and weaknesses is really key here. Accept that the process may be challenging, but the rewards are definitely make it worth it. Stop trying to make the perfect plan and forcing yourself to stick to it. Find a system to organise your time that works for you. Ask for help from someone who finds planning easier than you do. Be patient with yourself. Focus on what's important to you and keep at it. Stay the course. Keep going with it. So those are my thoughts on professionalising your business, and also a bit on how to plan, even if that's not really your thing. Let me know your questions, your comments. How do you feel about your business? Also, what's your next step in your life, in your business? What do you need to help you feel more confident? Do book in a clarity call with me, and let's get you moving past whatever is blocking your progress and onto that next challenge. And if you'd like to find out more about how to identify your natural strengths and weaknesses, or you'd like some support with planning and prioritising, do let me know. Let's give you a good dose of some clarity. Before I close up for today, I wanted to give you some next steps, some really concrete things that I suggest you do as a result of today's live. So number 1, over the next week, make a note of what you are spending your time on. Number 2, at the end of the week, organise everything that you did during this week into high-level categories, no more than 5. And then number 3, ask yourself 3 questions. Which of these things do I want to be spending my time on? Which of these things does my business need me to be spending my time on? And remember, the purpose of the business is to make money by solving problems for clients. And thirdly, could anybody else do any of these tasks? Please let me know how you get on with this bit of homework this week. I'm going to close up today's live with 2 quotes about planning and professionalising. So the first is from the American President John F. Kennedy. And what he has to say about this is, the time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. And my second quote is from Lisa Satora, who is an e-commerce expert. Treat your business like a business and it will pay you like a business. Treat your business like a hobby and it will cost you like a hobby. So decide what's important to you, what you want and how you want to be spending your time. Decide that up front and then stick to it. Building a business is tough. It can be a long, hard road. Make sure you're building something really meaningful to you that will sustain you through the tough times. Be intentional and say no to things that don't serve you or the goal that you want to achieve. And as I pass back over to you, that is what I want you to take from today. What is the outcome that you're really seeking? What's the result, the goal? Put your energy into getting really clear about that, but allow yourself to do things your way. Yes, by all means, learn from me, from others, but when you synthesize that learning, when you bring it inside of you, what comes out must be really congruent with you, what works for you. If you want to build something, then go for it. But if you just want to do your thing, then that's okay too. Focus on listening to yourself and ask yourself, what do you need so that you can spend more of your time in your flow? And don't forget that the opposite of flow is friction. And so if things aren't really working, then take a step back and focus on getting some clarity. Get some objective input, hire the services of a business coach, take some time to look at what you're doing and where an easier path would start from and lead to. Ask yourself, what would a business that really works for me look like? Let me know your thoughts and your questions on this or any other topic relating to how to simplify, grow and enjoy your business. What area of business would you like me to speak about next? I am so looking forward to this very special year ahead for you and for your business. Lots of exciting things to come. Are you on Clubhouse? Do let me know if you are. Lots of exciting things to come. If you haven't yet claimed your free copy of my book, The Real Entrepreneur, go to therealentrepreneur.book.com. If you prefer an Audible or a Kindle version, you can find those on Amazon. Check out section 3 of my book for more on operationalizing and professionalizing your business. Get the foundations right and you can build from there. I really hope that you have a lovely weekend. Whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it with, I wish you a happy and a peaceful time. And as always, if you want to talk, then you know where I am. Please remember to be where you are in the journey. You don't need to know it all and you definitely don't have to do it all. Take care, stay safe and keep in touch. Bye for now.